to bring that level of transparency to my reporting this week, which has gotten some attention in some quarters. I'm trying to describe what's happening in the race. I'm not rooting for Trump or Harris. I'm rooting for transparency, for understanding, and I'm a competitive reporter. I'm trying to tell people ahead of others what's going on. Okay? What's going on is what I know is going on is not based on partisanship or favor. It's based on sources in both sides. I'm not saying I'm the only reporter in America with reporters in both parties, but it's increasingly rare. And the benefit of having sources in both parties is the cross-checking super valuable, right? If a really valuable, well-known to me Republican source and a really valuable, well-positioned, well-known to me Democratic source are saying the same thing about what they're seeing in the private polling, that's really valuable. It's more valuable than just having it from one, for sure. And it gives me a greater sense of confidence of what I feel comfortable bringing to you. There's no doubt in my mind that the polling, as I've characterized it this week, is accurate. That right now Trump would win, and that the numbers are moving in his direction, and that her problems in each individual state with different demographic groups are pronounced, and she'll need to fix with some combination of tactical outreach to black males or union workers, whatever it is, and to a macro solution like the overwhelming effectiveness of announcing her bipartisan council advisors. I can't stop joking about it because I just find it so ridiculous. Now, as I talk to folks about the race, I'm not locking in. I'm not saying, well, since I reported that the polls were going in his direction, President Trump's direction, that's it. And then I'll stick with that the rest of the way. If it changes, it'll change. When I reported that President Biden was planning to leave the race as early as the coming weekend, I also reported that he did not plan to endorse Kamala Harris. The reason I did was because I had it really well sourced that he didn't. From the time I reported that to the time on Sunday when he got out of the race and then shortly thereafter endorsed her, my reporting is, and I said this, but it's been ignored by my critics, I said he came under enormous pressure when I reported that he wasn't going to endorse her from a lot of people, including very influential women close to the vice president, who said, you've got to endorse her. It'll look horrible if you don't. And he changed his mind. So there was no open convention, as I reported there was going to be, because things changed. In this case, they changed, I think, largely because of what I reported. But my point in telling you that story, besides to see if I can shut up all the criticism of that element of my scoop, is I will change. And the story can change. All I can do is tell you in a single moment what's going on based on my reporting. So today, I talked to a Republican pollster who, again, is not a charlatan. He's a real pollster. It's someone I've worked with for decades. I trust him. He's never lied to me, to my knowledge. And I can't tell you the specifics yet, but he told me that one state that the Harris campaign is very keen on winning, of the 7, he said, I know that state really well. I can't tell you how, but trust me, he knows that state really well. And he said, she's not winning that state. Like, forget any public or private poll you see. Now, does it mean he's right that she's definitely not going to win the state? No. But I have confidence in person because I know his history with the state. I know how well he knows the state as a pollster. And I'll say that factors into my view. When I think about her electoral college paths, and many of her electoral college paths include that state. Not all of them, but many of them do. And I say, okay, I factor that in. So when I'm thinking about how likely is she to get 270 electoral votes with that state, today I don't think it's very likely. I'll do more reporting on it. I think the chances that person is wrong about that state are de minimis, but they're not zero, and I'll keep reporting on it. And that is what I do, okay? I don't call up a Trump communications director and say, spin me on your polls. Tell me how great Trump's doing. And I don't just take one side's word for it. If I do, if one side tells me something, I'll say it's that side. I won't muddy it up, okay? So that's where I believe the race stands tonight. Confidence in Mar-a-Lago, concern in Wilmington, and greater concern amongst Democratic elected officials who I hear from daily, asking me what I know, because they know I know some stuff, and telling me explicitly and through their questions, they are worried, okay? Doesn't mean she won't win, but that's how we head into the weekend, okay? Democrats are worried about where things stand. And you see in her media strategy,
Hello, everybody. Welcome back, one and all, to the Dr.
Now,
Nasser Shake. Welcome back, one and all, to the Dr.
now,
Nasser
I
Shake
want
Show. So we welcome you back to the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Dr. Nasser. And you know what, folks? The reason I wanted to play this clip was that I really, really do like Mark Halperin. I like his reporting, always have. I remember him during the 2016 election cycle when he was on Morning Joe and, making the rounds with, I can't remember who his partner was at that time. I think they were doing some collaboration. But one thing is, I think he does try to play it, down the middle, but he hedges a little bit. And I guess that's fine or whatever. Like he said, he says he doesn't have any skin in the game. I think he hides his, wherever he's leaning, whatever direction he's leaning, he tries to, keep that out. But he does seem to have some very nice buried sources within both the Republican and the Democratic camps. And so that's good to hear. So right now it seems from what he's reporting, and obviously if you're on the Trump side like we are, I am, then you obviously like what you're hearing from his sources in the Republican camp, in the Democratic camp, because they're sort of saying the same things. And if you happen to be on the Democratic side or the Harris side, you're probably saying, oh, you know what, he's a, shill for Donald Trump or whatever. So be that as it may. Anyways, that gives you a state of the race as of this past Friday, which would have been yesterday, the 11th of October. And what I wanted to do was basically go over the RCP map, the Real Clear Politics average map that's there with no battleground states at all, just based on the RCP average, and then give you a summation of what's happening so far in the political day. So let's go to that RCP map right now. So as you can see, this hasn't moved much since the beginning of the week. As I report, you can take a look at, check in the links below, look at our YouTube page, check out the other videos that we've done inside here. This is the map based on no swing states, no battleground states, just according to what their polling averages are in the RCP as of this past Friday, which was the 11th of October. So he's at 302, Trump. Harris, she's at 236. What did change over the week? Well, we knew that PA flipped, Michigan flipped, and the most recent was that Nevada flipped as far as the RCP averages. And you could go into those tabs individually and see what the averages are right now. Now, my prediction, and I've had this out there for weeks, months now actually, is that Trump is at 345, Harris is at 193. And how I come up with that is I actually think that Trump's going to flip New Mexico. I think he's going to flip Minnesota. Wisconsin, if he's winning PA and Michigan, eventually Wisconsin's going to flip. I think Virginia's in play. I think he's going to win that by 1-3. I think PA, I wouldn't be shocked if he wins that by more than 5, but right now I'm thinking more along the lines of about a 3 to 4 point victory. Michigan is probably in the 1-3 category. I think Wisconsin is going to surprise people. I think it's going to be over 5. But I wouldn't be surprised, that 3 to 5 range, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes over 5. Minnesota, it's probably a 1-3 point victory is what I'm predicting. Same thing in New Mexico. And he's already got North Carolina and Georgia and the rest. So that's why I come up with my 345 to 193. But this right now, they're slowly creeping up. RCP is slowly coming up to my numbers. We're only 43 away. Now, would I care if he doesn't win New Mexico or Minnesota or, New Hampshire's the other one that I think he's going to flip 1-3. So would I be upset if he doesn't flip those? As long as he's above 270, folks, that's all we care about. But it would be nice to not only have an electoral landslide, but also win the popular vote. You know what they say, too big to rig. Well, let's take a look at what's happening in the political arena during the past few hours to give you a sense of what's happening here. It's Saturday, the 11th of October. Just let's go and see what's happening. So here's some breaking news, folks. J.D. Vance going to be holding some key rallies Wednesday. Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Then he's going into Wilmington, North Carolina. Here's a new election model. It's saying Trump +3, Georgia +3, Arizona is up 2.8, Pennsylvania 1.6, Nevada +1, Wisconsin 0.1, Michigan 0.1. Let's go a little bit more into detail here. So this was done by J&L Partners. J&L Partners. All right. Never heard of them. Let's see here. Decision Dex headquarters. Well, they've got Harris up by 2, but over the last week, she's lost 3. Trump has gained 3. Here you can see. ABC 538 election forecast is showing Harris still up 53-47, but Trump has gained 2 in the last week. Harris has lost 1. Here's something. Election integrity. Michigan Detroit agrees to hire Republican poll workers after previously deciding not to hire enough. And here's Donald Trump surging in Virginia. We've seen that from the polls coming out there, folks. New Rasmussen poll, 5-day average. Trump is +1. Now, Trump was doing about +2, +3 in the 5-day moving average. So that has come down. He has lost a little bit of ground. And this is from Rasmussen's 5-day average. And this is about 2,400 likely voters over October 6th to 10th. This is Scott Pressler of the Persistence. Boy, is he doing some unbelievable work in Pennsylvania. Here's something here. This one's a little bit different. So here's the 10th of October. It's showing that he's got a 4-point lead in Rasmussen reports. So I know the other one was just showing 1. So I'm just wondering. Oh, that's a 5-day moving average. That was a 5-day moving average. So he's pulled a 4-point lead in Rasmussen's daily poll. So this was up until yesterday, folks. But his 5-day moving average is 1 now. And this is so true. This is so true. The reason why she's behind? They brought out Clinton and Obama for her. That's true. And then Obama, folks. He's scolding. Did you see the clip there? He's scolding black men for not voting for Kamala, saying that she shares your upbringing. She's your same skin color. She's a black woman. She's had to fight and claw her way for everything. Nothing has been given to her. Really? Really? She prostituted herself in California to move up the ranks in the DA office, in the political arena. She didn't get a single vote at all in the primary. She was a DIE hire for obviously her reasoning being that she's a woman of color, black, which she's not. She's half Jamaican, half Indian. They don't talk about that, or when you talk about that, you get labeled a racist or a bigot. So here's something. The major election predictions channel just released their final 2024 election forecast. This is the result. The channel, Election Predictions Official, they say they nailed 2020, only missing 1 state, Georgia. So they're basically saying that right now they're predicting Trump 297 to Harris 241. That is their final Looks like their final election forecast prior to this year's election. Here was their 2020. They took 290 to Trump 248. That was their final back in 2020. So it seems like, pollster, a firm that was pretty spot on back in 2020. Who thought that less mail-in voting would lead to trouble for the Democrats? In Florida, Republicans outnumber Democrats by over 1 million. Remember when this was just the reverse? Just a few election cycles ago, when it was Democrats that outnumbered Republicans? And we always had to come back. We always had to try to storm the polls on election night to make up for what was happening in Democratic, and it was purple state, but it fluctuated. Now Florida firmly in the Republican red column, as is Ohio. Oh, you want to hear something? Listen to this, folks. Listen to this.
Some stuff. It's packed with some fundamental stuff.
This is just crazy,
I say
folks.
rather articulately. So when we think about what's at stake in this election,
Stuff.
whoa, it's packed with some stuff.
There's the cackle.
It's packed with some fundamental stuff. I say rather articulately.
She says rather articulately. Rather articulately. It's packed with some stuff. And we wrap it in a box. We put a bow on top of it. So it's nice and pretty. So the stuff inside is so nice and pretty. But you got to put that bow on it to complete the package. This is unbelievable. And this is who people want to vote to be the leader of the President of the United States, the leader of the free world. OMG is all I can say. OMG. OMG. Here's something. Two-time Obama voter switches to Trump. Let's hear what this man has to say.
So there's no clear line of what her policies are.
LaQuint Dickey voted for Obama twice. Since then, he switched to Trump over Harris.
She hasn't answered anything about any of her policies, any of them. So there's no clear line of what her policies are.
Very, very typical, folks. Very, very typical of the black voter under 50. 1 out of 4, 25% right now, according to polls, that are not going to vote for Kamala Harris are going to be voting for Donald Trump. That's what's going on. Ah, look at this here. Nate Silver, 2024, slowly but surely, over the past week, Harris is down 4, Trump's gained 4. Now, do you take a look at this here? According to this electoral college probability, we said 52.2 popular vote, 75% to Harris, just squeaking by at 277. Trump at 48% of the popular vote share. She's around 51. This is according to Silver Bulletin. This is the map, the Silver 538 map. Look at this, folks. For the first time in North Carolina history, Republicans have more active voters than Democrats, just up a little over 3,000. They out-registered in the last week Democrats in North Carolina more than 2-1. Out-registered them, folks, in North Carolina, twice as many. And black voters asking for mail-in ballots, that's down. Whereas Republican ballots are up mail-in ballots in terms of requests. Look at this here, folks. The California rally for Trump in Coachella, California. This is what's going on in terms of just look, just watch this here. The lines are miles long, folks. I mean, he's going out there in deep blue California. People are asking why. Democrats are saying he's crazy. Well, he might be crazy, but you know what? He's crazy like a fox, folks. Crazy like a fox.
2024, let's go.
They were basically saying when he was in Aurora, NBC reported, look at this, folks. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. They were there in the morning before sunrise. NBC said it was the largest line of people, miles long, that they've ever seen for any event. In fact, the buses that were trying to take the people from the parking lot, they ended up stopping. They couldn't do it anymore. I don't know what the reason was, but people just said, okay, fine, we'll walk. We'll walk. And this happened in California. Look at this, they're winding around here. Okay, so now it ends. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, here's something. The Gaylord Rockies Resort rally today. President Trump stepped on a stage. This is, I guess, when they track the GPS. 15,465 were inside, and I guess another 10,000 outside in the overflow area. And then here he's showing the picture of the outside area. There's a packed area inside. Come on, folks. Oh, a dozen Medal of Honor recipients endorsed Donald Trump for president. Here's what we were talking about. Vote by mail requests. The Democrats are at 60%, but they're down 1.3. Democrats are at 28%. They're up 1, but they're gained from 2020. They're up almost 9 points from 2020 in their vote by mail requests. Democrats are down about a half a point in North Carolina, where Republicans are up about 0.3. And that's what we're talking about. North Carolina mail got redder again. Florida mail is about 6 to 7 points redder. And that was when Trump won the state by 3 points in what they were talking about, a blue environment. Here's one. The New York Trump leads PA in our Harris +4 poll that had Biden +8. If you waited for the 2020 vote. The Arizona poll where Trump was +6, that was a tie on the 2020 vote. If you weight them correctly, this is what you get. Trump +2 in PA, Trump +1 in Wisconsin, Trump +1 in Minnesota and Michigan, Trump +6 in Arizona. The Economist puts it at 281 to Harris 257. So folks, just wanted to give you a smattering of what was happening here in the political arena for the last few hours. We'll keep you up to date. Check back in on our show. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. You're watching the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. I'm your host, Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Let us know what you think. Put your comments down below. We appreciate you every time you tune in. My final thought is always, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.